You wake up, and before your feet even hit the floor, the movie has already started playing in your head. You aren't just thinking about your day, you are pre-living it. You're mentally walking through the coffee shop line, rehearsing exactly what you're going to order so you don't stumble over your words. You've already checked Google Maps not because you don't know where you're going, but because you need to see the parking situation. You need to know which lane to be in. You need to know if there's a side entrance. And then a text message comes in. A friend cancels, or a meeting gets moved up by 30 minutes. For most people, this is a minor annoyance, but for you, it feels like physical pain. It feels like the ground just dropped out from under you. You feel a flush of heat in your chest, a spike of adrenaline, and suddenly, you are exhausted. If you've ever felt like spontaneity is just a fancy word for chaos, or if you can't truly relax unless you have scheduled the relaxation time on your calendar, then this video is for you. We often get labeled as control freaks or uptight, but today, I want to change that narrative, because what you are doing isn't about control, it's about safety. Let's talk about the psychology of the overplanner. Sign 1. The pre-game mental rehearsal. The first sign that your planning goes deeper than just being organized is what psychologists call constructive simulation, but I call it the pre-game. You don't just go to a dinner party, you simulate the dinner party 3 times before you leave the house. You run through potential conversations, you think about who will be there, what they might ask you, and how you will respond. You're essentially writing a script for a play that hasn't happened yet. Why? Because for you, the unknown is dangerous. Silence is dangerous. Awkwardness is dangerous. So you over-prepare to ensure that you are never caught off guard. You trade your current energy for future certainty. But the problem is, by the time you actually get to the event, you're already tired because you've technically already lived it 3 times in your head. Sign number 2 is your visceral reaction to the phrase, "Let's just play it by ear." To you, that sentence is a horror movie. When someone suggests a road trip without a destination or walking into a restaurant without a reservation on a Friday night, you don't feel a sense of adventure. You feel a sense of dread. Your brain immediately starts firing off alarm bells. What if we don't get a table? What if we wander around for an hour? What if the food is terrible? What if I get too hungry and get a headache? You aren't a killjoy. You're actually trying to protect the group. In your mind, winging it opens the door for discomfort and failure. You take on the emotional burden of ensuring everyone has a good time, and the only way to guarantee that is to plan every single variable. Sign number 3 is the menu study, information gathering as armor. This is a classic one. If you are going to a new restaurant, you have looked up the menu online days in advance. You've looked at the photos on Yelp, you've checked the prices, you've decided between the pasta and the burger before you've even put on your shoes. On the surface, this looks like you're just excited about food, but psychologically, this is anxiety management. Making decisions consumes cognitive energy. It drains your social battery. By making the decision at home, in safety, you are preserving your energy for the scary part, the social interaction. You plan the details so you have the bandwidth to handle the people. You are using information as armor against decision fatigue. Sign number 4 is the buffer time paradox. You are never late. In fact, being late makes you feel like you are physically dying. So you plan for traffic, you plan for parking, you plan for getting lost. And the result, you end up sitting in your car in the parking lot for 20 minutes before the event starts, scrolling on your phone. You create massive buffers of time because the alternative, rushing, sends your nervous system into fight or flight mode. You'd rather waste 30 minutes of your life waiting in a car than spend 5 minutes feeling the stress of rushing. You are buying peace of mind with your time. Sign number 5. Post-event exhaustion. The crash. When the day is over, when the plan has been executed, the dinner is done, the trip is finished, you don't just feel tired, you feel depleted, hollowed out. This happens because you haven't just been living your day, you have been managing it. You have been the director, the producer, and the lead actor of your life all at once. You've been monitoring the vibe, checking the time, ensuring the next step of the plan is ready to go. That level of hypervigilance is expensive. It costs a lot of glucose in the brain. So when you finally get home and the need for planning stops, your body realizes just how long it's been running on high alert, and you crash. The psychology. Why do we do this? So, why are we like this? Why can't we just chill? It's easy to say it's just anxiety, but let's go deeper. It's about intolerance of uncertainty. For your brain, specifically your amygdala, the part that scans for danger, uncertainty equals threat. Evolutionarily, not knowing where you were going or where your food was coming from meant you might die. For most people, their brain has a filter that says, it's okay, we'll figure it out. But for the hyperplanner, that filter is broken or missing. Maybe you grew up in a chaotic household where things were unpredictable. Maybe you had parents who were emotionally volatile. As a child, you learned that if you could predict what was going to happen, you could stay safe. You learned that if you were the one in control, you wouldn't get hurt. Planning became your survival mechanism. It became the way you self-soothed. When you create a spreadsheet for a vacation, you aren't trying to suck the fun out of it. You're trying to silence the alarm bells in your head so you can have fun. You are building a structure so that your nervous system feels safe enough to relax. You don't plan because you want to control others. You plan because you want to control your own internal reaction to the world. So, where do we go from here? First, I want you to take a deep breath and stop beating yourself up. Being a planner is not a flaw. In a world that is increasingly chaotic, your ability to foresee obstacles and prepare for them is a superpower. You are the friend who remembers the tickets. You are the one who has the first aid kit. You are the one who makes things happen. But you have to learn to distinguish between preparation and rigid attachment. Preparation is looking at the map. Rigid attachment is having a meltdown because the road is closed. Try to practice flexible structure. Make a plan, but tell yourself this is just a draft. Allow yourself small moments of low-stakes spontaneity. Try walking into a coffee shop without deciding what you want until you see the counter. Prove to your brain that the world won't end if you don't have a script. You are safe. You are capable, and you can handle whatever the day throws at you, even if it wasn't on the itinerary. If this sounded like I was reading your diary, do me a favor, hit that like button. And in the comments, tell me what is the one thing you absolutely have to plan before you can relax. Let's talk about it. I'll see you in the next one.